We've got something a little different for you today, and we're kicking things off with a fun little game. 2 lies and 1 truth. Here we go. First up, Jeremy Frimpong is the perfect replacement for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Second, a 19-year-old from Portugal, with only 18 appearances this season, might just be our best option at right back. And third, the club should seriously consider Monaco's Vanderson. So hit pause for a second and drop your guess in the comments. Which one do you think is the truth? All done. Alright, chances are you've already figured out what today's video is about. With the recent news surrounding Trent, we're officially starting the hunt for a new right back. Now, we've actually done a similar video in the past, where we looked at 3 possible options. Jules Koundé, Joshua Kimmich, and Luciano Geertruida. In a perfect world, Koundé would be our ideal pick. But with 2 years still left on his contract, pulling that deal off would be far from simple. We went into more detail on Koundé and the others in that video, so if you haven't seen it yet, definitely check it out. But today, we've got 3 new names to look at. The first name we mentioned was Jeremy Frimpong, who we called a perfect Trent replacement. But yeah, that, my friends, was a big lie. Now, before you come at us in the comments, hear us out. We get it, Frimpong is high on a lot of people's lists. And yes, he's easily one of the most exciting players in his role. But here's the thing, what is his position exactly? Take a look at these 2 heat maps. The first one is of Amad Diallo, who is a natural winger who's been playing as a wing-back ever since Ruben Amorim took over at Manchester United. You can see just how high and wide he plays on the pitch. And honestly, that makes sense. He's a winger, that's his game. Now take a look at this next heat map. Looks pretty similar, right? Well, that one belongs to Frimpong. And just like Amad, you can see how incredibly high he operates up the pitch. Maybe even wider in some areas. It's almost identical positioning, which really makes you stop and think, is he playing as a right back or more like a winger? So, is Frimpong actually a right back? Absolutely not. He's much more of a wing back, best suited to a back 5 system. Honestly, he's closer to being a winger than a traditional fullback. And that's exactly why we don't think he's the right fit once Trent officially moves on. Now, does that mean he's a bad player? Of course not. Frimpong is a fantastic talent, and we'd love to have him in the squad, but not in the fullback role. Some might ask, well, what if we just bring him in and use him as a fullback? And that's where the problem starts. First off, you'd be limiting what makes him special, which is his ability to take on defenders 1 versus 1 in those high and wide areas. That's a big part of his game. But under Arne's slot, fullbacks are usually kept deep and narrow to help with build-up play. That's not where Frimpong shines. Using him that way wouldn't just restrict him, it could actually hurt our overall build-up. And there's another concern. Frimpong stands at around 5'6". That makes him an easy target at the back post, especially against taller wingers or strikers. And in the Premier League, where the physicality is no joke, that's a real issue. So yes, Frimpong is a top quality player, but is he the right replacement for Trent? That's where the doubt comes in. If we were to consider him, we'd need to be ready to make big changes to our system. Alright, moving on to the next player, and that's Monaco's Vanderson. The 23-year-old Brazilian, standing at 5'9", has been making some serious noise as a potential target. And when you take a look at this chart, his stats seem more than promising. Now, if you compare him to Frimpong, Vanderson actually looks like a much better fit for our system. So surely Liverpool should be all over him this summer, right? Like we said earlier. That must be the truth? Well, plot twist. That's our second lie. Let us explain why. At first glance, you might see Vanderson as your classic overlapping right back. But there's more to his game than just hugging the touchline. He's got the ability to pass inside, make underlapping runs, and even take up more inverted positions, just like Trent does when he steps into midfield. That means we wouldn't have to completely change the system to accommodate him. He's also comfortable passing with both feet, which helps him play around corners and keep the ball moving in tight spaces. That kind of technical ability can be really valuable, especially in the build-up phase. Positionally, he's quite intelligent too. He's played as a right centre-back, a wing-back, and a more traditional full-back, so he clearly understands different roles on that right side. He times his runs well and often pops up as the free man in attacking moves, which shows he's thinking one step ahead. Out of possession, he brings great energy and awareness. He can press high and aggressively when needed because he knows when to jump in front of a player and intercept the ball. On top of that, he uses his body well when closing down, making himself big to block passing lanes. So there's definitely a lot to like about Vanderson, but here's the twist. The negatives might just outweigh the positives. Let's talk physicality first. Vanderson, to put it simply, isn't the strongest. He gets knocked off balance a bit too easily, and when it comes to 1v1 duels, he struggles to really unsettle attackers. Now, as we mentioned earlier, he can press aggressively. He'll constantly hassle opponents, using his hands to push and try to poke the ball away. But the issue is, he can just as easily be shrugged off. It's effort without impact. Another concern, his 1-against-1 ability going forward. Unlike Frimpong, who thrives in those situations, Vanderson doesn't offer much in terms of beating his man. He's not the quickest on the ball, and that makes it tough for him to drive past players or create space out wide. So yeah, while there are definitely positives, the limitations in physicality and dribbling raise real doubts. And let's be honest, we're talking about replacing Trent here, one of the best in his position. We can't afford to settle for someone who's missing key parts of the modern fullback game. Also, big shout out to Leagues 1 expert Alex Barker, better known as Euro Expert on X, for his brilliant and detailed analysis on Vanderson. Definitely worth checking out. Alright, so that's 2 lies down. Let us know in the comments if you guessed them right. Now we're left with our only truth. A 19-year-old from Portugal with just 18 appearances this season might actually be our best option at right back. That's right, we're talking about Porto's Martim Fernandes. Now, of course, he's still raw, as most players his age are, but the way he stepped into this Porto side, you honestly wouldn't guess he's just 19. He looks right at home, and when you take a look at the current right-back market, it's hard to find many better options out there. Martim Fernandes, a Portugal under-21 international, stands just shy of 6 feet. He's dynamic, press resistant, and has that explosive burst both over short distances and on longer sprints. He's quick, confident on the ball, and can pick a pass or carry it forward with real intent. He ticks a lot of boxes, especially if the goal is to replace Trent with someone who offers a similar profile. So there you have it. 3 different players, 3 very different profiles, but only one truth. Martim Fernandes might not be the biggest name out there, but when you look at the profile, the stats, and the potential, he could actually be the smartest long-term option to replace Trent. Of course, he's still got areas to work on, but at just 19, the foundation is seriously strong. As always, it's not just about the numbers, it's about how a player fits into the system, the style of play, and the squad as a whole. And from what we've seen, Martim has all the right tools to grow into a key piece for the future. But hey, that's just our take. What do you think? Should Liverpool go all in on Martim this summer? Or do you still believe someone like Vanderson, Frimpong, or someone else could be the better pick if the system is tweaked? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe.